Be a part of the best pro wrestling podcast today by supporting the Going In Raw Patreon. You can enjoy access to the live taping of the show, exclusive merchandise, and patron-only episodes, and so much more. Support Going In Raw today. Click the link in the description. Hey friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
I can't talk, my voice is shot right now. It was all that singing of the Nakamura song. And the Glorious. And boy, it was an NXT show.
Yeah, we went to NXT last night.
Was this the first time we've been to NXT?
Yeah.
This is our first NXT show.
Correct.
It was a blast. It was a really good show. We're both really exhausted. The funny thing is, like, we're not even hungover or anything. I'm physically exhausted from being in New York in general.
Yeah, you have to do a lot of walking when you're in this city.
Doing much of anything takes a lot of work. Like a lot of, you really test your mettle.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Maybe we just have it like really, really easy in California.
Yeah, we do.
I think we do. Anyways. So we went to NXT last night. We figured we'd bring you a recap. We've been tweeting out all this stuff. You know, we interviewed a bunch of the WWE superstars of this 2K17 who brought us out to do that. So big thanks to them.
Yes, thank you very much.
We got our hands on the game. Is that going up before this? This is going up first? What's going up first?
Depends what's ready first.
Okay, so coming up soon, we've got a review of 2K7.
Well, a hands-on.
A hands-on.
First impression.
First impression, thank you, video of that. And then later on, at some point, we're going to have that party that we went to with interviews. But here's our NXT recap because we figured we got to get you guys something.
Yeah,
enough
soon.
dicking around.
Yeah, or walking.
Or walking.
We've been walking a lot.
And then we go into like the steamy subway stations and wait for 20 minutes at a time for a train.
It just feels longer because it's really hot down there.
And we're really old. Anyways, so let's go through this.
Yeah, the first match was Austin Aries against No Way Jose. We kind of showed up a little bit late for NXT because we were doing another thing.
We caught the
but we
bulk
came in.
of this.
Yeah, we came in about halfway through.
Yeah, it was a good match.
Yeah, it was. No Way Jose has really.
He's improved his
yes,
ring work
a lot. From
big
his
time.
First match, I think we were both of the same opinion that he was incredibly charismatic.
Yeah.
Decent dancer.
Yeah.
So wrestler.
Well,
now his wrestling is caught up to his dancing abilities.
I think
at least, maybe his charisma as well. It's
probably more likely that because I think he's been around a little while in the end. It's not like this is a fresh guy they brought in.
Yeah.
I think it probably has more to do with, you know, he comes in, he's probably full of nerves, and that's probably gonna affect your shit in the ring. And so, and he in this match particularly, he was working with a partner in Austin Aries who has been around a long time on a big stage. Yeah. He knows how to carry a guy.
Yes.
And so, you know, he had a good dance partner.
Yeah.
Anyways, it was a fantastic match.
Yeah.
Really good match. Austin Aries ended up going over, making No Way Jose tap out.
Which is kind of surprising.
You said that last night. Why is that surprising?
They seem to have.
No Way Jose is Ty Dillinger 2.0.
No, I feel like they have.
I think,
larger plans for No Way Jose than that.
I don't think that at all. His fun time gimmick is really not that different than a guy who does this or the Drifter who plays a guitar. Now, I think No Way Jose has tons more charisma than at least the Drifter. Yeah. I miss the Drifter. I really miss the Drifter.
But I mean, No Way Jose. In the feud with Austin Aries, that promo he did a couple weeks back.
It was really good.
He showed a lot of dimension to his character.
Don't get me wrong, it was really good. It's just, you know, they bring in a guy like Austin Aries, and he's sort of, I mean, he's a couple pegs down from Bobby Roode, and look how they're treating Roode. I think they have, I don't know about big plans for Austin Aries, but I think they're giving him a lot to work with, and they're going to help usher him along and see how it plays out. It'd be kind of interesting, because you can tell Roode's going to be fast-tracked.
Oh, yeah.
He's either going to be, he's going to be fast-tracked. Yes. I could see him on main soon easily. But they might give him it's weird how they're doing things now. It's hard to predict how they're doing things.
Well, and we'll get to that a bit later because leading up to the main event of this show, we had differing opinions about how they were going to proceed.
Yeah, but we were kind of on the same page by the time the match rolled around just because of Bobby Roode.
Yeah.
So anyways, I don't know. I fully expected Austin Aries to win that match. I really did.
Oh, okay. We didn't do a predictions video, so I guess I didn't know that.
No, I'm honest about that shit, though. Because I'm fine saying if I was wrong about something. It's just No Way Jose to me has the vibe of somebody who's going to be in NXT longer than Austin Aries. Unless here's the thing, we don't know if they want to if NXT is still the place where people can go through it and hop to main, or if they want to establish some building blocks for NXT, and that's where I was coming from when it came to the main event match. If they were going to have some building blocks. So I don't know, but it was a good match.
Yeah.
What happened next?
Next was the debut of Ember Moon against Billie Kay.
Okay, well, a couple things here. Billie Kay looks great. They're sort of repackaging her. I don't know about repackaging her. They're just dolling her up quite a bit. They're giving her a bit more complexity because she's sort of a heel now. And
they were talking about how her appearance on SmackDown changed her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right, exactly. So it's obvious that, you know, they're with Bayley gone, or with Bayley leaving, probably.
So it seems, yeah, we'll get to that in a little bit.
The women's division, Nia Jax and Alexa Bliss and Carmella all gone. The women's division roster there is completely depleted. And so they're going to have to start building up new people like Billie Kay, who's been around for a little while.
Yeah.
But now they're giving her, as opposed to just being the enhancement talent, they're elevating her role.
Well, actually, in this match, she was enhancement talent because she lost to Ember Moon.
I know. But if she had, but then, you know, she has had, Billie Kay had matches where she was winning on the weekly show. So this was, and she's on the main card. And, this is a pretty big deal for her.
Ember Moon's pretty good.
It's pretty good. Like, you know, it wasn't the sharpest of matches. It was there were some interesting spots. There were a couple of botches, but it wasn't a bad match by any means. It was a decent match. Ember Moon looks great.
Her finisher is fantastic.
Her finisher is great. That's the top rope stunner.
Yeah.
The turnbuckle stunner.
Yeah.
That was great.
She jumps off the turnbuckle, does a flip into a stunner on her opponent.
Yeah, and Billie Kay, like, that's the kind of move that seems difficult to take.
Yeah.
You know, in terms of, like, sort of understanding where your opponent is, how they're flying at you.
And where you, as the recipient of the move,
have
to be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But they both executed it perfectly, and everybody in the crowd went, whoa!
Yeah, when it happened live, and then when they showed it on replay a few times, everybody's like, whoa.
Yeah, exactly. So it was like a so-so match leading up to a great finish. So it was a really good debut. It's going to be Ember Moon versus Asuka is going to be really interesting. Because they're going to push the shit out of Ember Moon.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to push her big time. She looks great, too.
Next match. A glorious one. Bobby Roode versus Andrade Cien Almas.
His entrance in person was awesome. You know, and the NXT crowd, I wonder how it's going to be at SummerSlam tonight, because the NXT crowd was really something else. What did you say about the percentage of people wearing Nakamura shirts?
30%, at least.
At least. It's so much red in the audience. But yeah, Bobby Roode shows up, you know, on this big elevated platform thing,
singing his own theme song. Not live, but you can tell he was singing from the platform. And here's the thing: we've been to a few wrestling shows. We've taken part in collective things like singing John Cena Sucks. Yeah. I don't think I've ever had quite the experience like I had last night, singing Bobby Roode's theme song with 15,000 people and Bobby Roode at the same time.
I haven't been to church in a long time, but this felt like a really it was a heavenly experience. It was glorious.
It was glorious, and it was a good match.
Yeah, it was a good match.
Bobby Roode went out of his way to make Almas look like $1 million.
He did, and he did, and they both looked really, really good, and
a really fun match too.
This is such an interesting conundrum they have. Do they have gold on their hands with Bobby Roode, or is it kind of I really severely questioned matching up Bobby Roode with a guy like Almas, because Almas is the pure babyface that. How do I put this? Like, you can't match him against a heel in Bobby Roode, who everybody loves. That's kind of a conundrum.
Yeah.
Because like you could, and that's why when Bobby Roode cut his heel promo, that's when I saw your side of things in terms of Joe Nakamura. Because I thought to myself, okay, Roode he's gonna get fast tracked. He's gonna be in the main event scene soon. He needs a proper face. But does this make sense now?
What, future Shinsuke?
I mean, I guess, look, you had Stone Cold and The Rock. People cheered the shit out of both of them.
Even last night during Bayley Asuka. I mean, the crowd loves both of them.
I know, but it's so much less of a thing. That was the kind of thing where you knew that somebody was moving on, and there wasn't a true, like, Asuka's not a true heel. She's just a badass.
Yeah.
Bobby Roode is with it. He does classic heel stuff, but this audience loves that stuff and understands.
See, I think in the for NXT fans, people appreciate work.
I know,
and they'll cheer good work.
I know.
regardless if it's heel or face.
I know. But do you see my point with a guy like Almas?
No, I do.
A guy like Nakamura is so over the top that people will go insane for both of these guys, and that's okay.
And I think it's a less of a face heel issue as opposed to you have Almas, who's new.
Yeah.
This is his third match.
Right.
And he's already losing to Roode. And granted, they put on a great match, and Almas matched Roode in terms of moves, but also in terms of charisma. They had a lot of really good moments back and forth during the match. So, like I said, while Almas lost, it was also a pretty good showcase for his skills.
It was. I just think that Roode might have been served better. I'll put it this way. Shuffle the decks a little bit. Get Almas in there against Austin Aries, and give Austin Aries a loss because he doesn't really suffer that much from a loss.
Yeah.
Get Ty Dillinger in there against Bobby Roode. Then you've got an interesting dynamic. Then you've got it because people already know Ty, but they know that he's automatically an underdog.
Yeah. Well, they also know automatically he's probably going to lose.
I know. Well, that's okay. Almas right now needs wins.
No, I agree.
He needs wins.
I agree.
And because I think he looks great.
Yeah.
He's got like that natural, he's like a super handsome guy.
Yeah.
And he's super good in the ring.
Yeah.
Like his moves are great.
Yeah.
He needs wins right now.
Yeah.
Like Ty Dillinger's not a guy who needs wins. Like this dude's taken so many losses, people still love him. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. No, I understand your point.
No way, Jose. Even there's two tiers in NXT. There's guys who they're gonna push, and there's guys who the other guys.
Yeah.
And Ty Dillinger falls in that level. I personally think No Way Jose falls in that level. And I think I just don't see No Way Jose as being. I know he's in your heart, but use your head. I don't think he's the kind of guy they're gonna like push and be like, hey, we're pushing you to the moon, kid.
Not right away, but in a year when Shinsuke's gone and Bobby Roode's gone and probably Austin Aries.
I don't know.
If they keep adding dimension to his character, they could.
I don't know. I think I'll put it this way: he's a project. Austin Aries isn't a project. Bobby Roode's not a project.
No, yeah, I agree with that totally.
That was what's next.
Probably the match of the night: the Revival. Versus Gargano and Ciampa.
if only because the last two matches were so emotional. This one was the best wrestling match of the night, and my God, there was a lot of them. Like the emotion, I think matched the last two, but the wrestling was there too.
Yeah.
And I can't quite say that about the main event. I mean, it was the wrestling's there, but half of the main event felt like a shoot. We'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
This was an emotional roller coaster. Happy birthday, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. These guys really, really went at it.
Yeah.
And Facebook just told me. And
okay.
And it was the revival. I'm telling you, man, if this doesn't prove that the Revival and I get that they're using them maybe to anchor NXT,
the tag division,
division, and that's good.
Yeah.
I still think, and I'm never going to let this go. American Alpha should have been used to do that, and Revival should be on SmackDown right now because the Revival, more than any other team, like I knew the entire time they were going to win. Mm-hmm. Like I had it in my head. I was like, okay, this is my most likely scenario for this one. Ciampa and Gargano go on to Raw for the Cruiserweight division. That seems obvious. And the Revival stick around but then at the same time, I was like, man, these guys are really over.
Yeah,
they might win. And of course, during the match, you're thinking, oh, these guys might pull it off.
Especially in the last, 10 minutes, there's a dozen false finishes.
Oh, there was a million false finishes. But the Revival ended up pulling it off in true heel fashion. These guys are classic, amazing heels.
The best heel tag team I've seen in a long time. They know how to cheat better than anybody else.
They do. They are so good. They have such good chemistry together. And they make everybody they're with better.
Yeah.
That's the crazy thing about them. They make everybody better. And that's why I think they would have been better in SmackDown.
Yeah, I know.
Because American Alpha, they can't make anybody else look better necessarily. That's not their thing. Their thing is they're really good as a team.
Yeah.
The Revival, obviously, I don't know if they have more experience as a team. I don't know what their deal is. But they make their opponents better. They make it feel like it's a real fight. American Alpha makes it look more, to me anyways, makes it look more like it's an American Alpha exhibition.
I think the thing about the Revival is they know how to draw heat.
Mm-hmm, yeah. That's important. That's
at an expert level.
That's so important.
And when, as a heel tag team, that's pretty much your primary job.
That's your job.
That's your primary job. Yeah. And that helps the face team get over.
Yeah. Yeah.
And right now, there's no one on SmackDown that can do that.
Nobody's over on SmackDown either. Except for American Alpha. That's the thing. So you put these guys on SmackDown, they can get the Ascension over. They can get the Usos over. They can get those guys over.
Yeah.
They know how to do that. That's why you put them there.
I know.
Anyways, it was a beautiful match. Obviously, the rival went over, and yeah, it was like the development of Ciampa and Gargano has been expertly sort of executed.
Yeah.
Over the past month, 2 months.
Yeah.
Between their shit and the Cruiserweight Classic, which was great because they used the Cruiserweight Classic match to tell a story that translated to NXT. They helped build their NXT brand through. So that was really, really well done. Yeah, so it was a classic match.
Yeah, it was really good.
Probably match of the night.
Oh yeah, easily. Next we had Asuka take on Bayley.
Yeah, this was the crowd. Probably, I want to say the biggest pop of the night went to Bayley when she on her entrance.
Second largest pop. Largest pop is the end of the main event.
I don't know, man. I think when Bayley came out, I think those people went insane for her. I kind of think that Nakamura, like everybody kind of knew, and so they were just happy that they were able to celebrate.
Yeah.
Bayley, they were showing their true passion and emotion for. That was my take, anyways. Yeah. I mean, it might be 1A, 1B. But anyways, Bayley comes out, and then her and Asuka go at it. And this is a stiff match.
Yeah.
They were really going at it.
The last two matches both were really stiff.
Super stiff. It was just a really stiff match. So it wasn't as. I think that element of it was its strongest point because it wasn't like a technically sound match, and it wasn't like a sort of a well balanced match. I don't think.
No,
it was just stiff. They were just beating up each other, which was cool to see in a women's division match.
And Bayley sold the story well that that she was in terms of striking overmatched, but wasn't going to back down in regardless.
That was the story, exactly. And that was it was really well told, and Asuka ended up coming out on top. I think we all saw that coming.
Yeah. Well, then that was the other, the secondary story was Bayley fighting out of the Asuka lock twice.
Yeah.
3 times maybe, only to get kicked in the back of the head.
Right, yeah.
And then there was a nice moment after the match when we all pretty much knew that was most likely Bayley's last match in NXT.
Yeah.
And so Sasha and Becky Lynch were ringside.
And Charlotte.
Yeah. And they all had a moment. And everybody said, "Thank you, Bayley."
Yeah.
It was nice.
Yeah, she's done. What do you think? She has to be going to SmackDown,
I would think so, yeah.
Even out of the Four Horsemen?
I would think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think so.
It's so funny, dude. I was watching the match last night, and I was like, man, it's tough because it's like, she obviously can't stay in NXT, but she has to go to, I'm sorry, but I know we always say this. SmackDown's, to us, is a sillier, more entertaining show. You say unpredictable, I just say it's kind of silly, but it's entertaining.
Yeah.
Because Raw has been feeling kind of stale over the past week or two. I think the prestige right now is still on Raw. And I don't think just because they have the title. I think the whole Eva Marie thing, while hilarious and entertaining, is a complete joke. And it's like, man, they need a title. They need wrestling.
Yeah.
They need a title. They need wrestling. They have Carmella, who's not a good wrestler.
But they also have Becky Lynch. They have Alexa Bliss, who are good wrestlers.
Alexa Bliss is okay. She's getting there.
Yeah.
But Becky Lynch is a great wrestler.
Yeah.
Natalia is a greret wrestler.
Yeah.
Then they have her losing to Carmella. It's so weird right now. I mean, that's the thing about SmackDown that we enjoy, is that it's so weird. But if I think of Bayley, I'm like, man, I want her on the Big Show.
No, I agree. I think
the Big Show.
I think we want her to see, and we want to see her feuding with Sasha and with Charlotte.
I want to see her treated like she should be treated. And because right now I look at Becky Lynch and I'm like, man, I feel bad for her because she's being treated like.
I want kind of what they're doing. It seems like from the beginning of SmackDown Live, they week in, week out, they're rather than necessarily building significant storylines with the women's division, they're just kind of introducing them.
Yeah.
And it still kind of feels like they're doing it.
Yeah.
Like even Carmella going over Natalia, it's not really part of the story per se, but it's like, okay, Carmella is a legitimate threat in this division.
Right.
It's just kind of, apart from Eva Marie, everybody's being booked as if they, are legitimate.
Yeah. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. It's weird to think that main roster feels like a step down.
I know.
You know what I mean? Because that match last night was so intense and the crowd was so passionate. And then I just imagine her coming out on SmackDown Live and like people just sort of being, oh, cool, Bailey, wow, neat. Let's go buy some more Cena merchandise.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
That's how it kind of feels. Whereas at least with Raw, you're like in the big like that's still the main attraction show.
You know, but maybe it just takes a couple more major stars showing up on SmackDown to give it that kind of feel.
That could be. Even aesthetically, it feels.
It's because of the crane.
It's the crane. It's the blue lighting. I don't know. Just there's nothing dramatic about it. It just feels kind of silly.
Yeah.
It's funny. I waffle so much on it. Sometimes I'm like, yeah, SmackDown. And sometimes I'm like, God, it's such a crap show. Anyways, moving on.
Main event: Shinsuke Nakamura against Samoa Joe.
What did you say to me 5 minutes into this match?
This feels like a shoot match.
It feels like Triple H told these guys, look, I haven't booked anything. Whoever wants the title, you need to fight for it.
You guys have to go out there and earn it.
Exactly. And what happened? Shinsuke Nakamura knocked Joe's jaw off.
We'll get to that in a second.
We're still not sure.
Yeah, we're still not sure. Well, let's get to that. Let's start beginning the match. It wasn't even 5 minutes into the match. I think it was like 3 moves into the match.
It was like 3 moves into the match.
Because they started, like, I think Joe came up and started, throwing some forearms or something, and then Shinsuke did a shoot. Did a leg shoot, took him down, and they did a bunch of like MMA maneuvers where Shinsuke was trying to get full mount on him and all that kind of stuff. It was crazy.
It was hilarious. Like, it was amazing. It was funny, crazy, intense. It was everything in one because it's like, I think I'm watching 2 guys actually fight each other right now.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like.
And
Shinsuke was kicking the shit out of Joe.
And it was a really stiff match. There was that one knee, like halfway through the match, that Shinsuke dropped on Joe. That was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Joe probably got knocked out.
Yeah. It was a really intense match. It was not. It was like the exact opposite of like a graceful match. There was nothing graceful about this match. It was just two bastards like just fighting each other for this fucking belt.
But actually, this match, beyond Shinsuke being anointed as champ, was really a showcase for Joe's submission abilities.
Oh yeah.
So I think that's probably the major narrative from Joe's side of the match was okay. I'm gonna keep the King of Strong Style in check by putting him in a variety of submission holds. And it seemed like Joe would do a move and transition immediately to some sort of submission. Yeah. Like there was that point where he powerbombed him. Shinsuke kicked out at 2. Joe flipped it over to a crab.
Joe flipped the kick out.
Yeah, to a crab.
He kicked out. And put him in a crab. He did the STFU. What is it called these days? STF?
Yeah, STFU, and Cena does it. But then he transitioned from that to a crossface.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
It was pretty cool that Joe was showing off the full range of his submission abilities.
Oh, we also got to talk. Shinsuke's entrance was like.
Oh yeah.
Like when they busted out like the violin player. Yeah. I was like, oh, I know who's leaving with the belt tonight.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then in like the second to last, like in the last false finish before the finish. Oh shit! I'm gonna rub my mic. In the last false finish, right before the finish, Shinsuke, did Kinshasa. I never know what it is. Some of them want to say Shinkasa. Anyways, fucking kicked the shit out of him.
After Joe kicked out, he was holding his jaw and screaming.
It looked like it was.
That's what it looked like.
It didn't look like he was selling. It looked like he was in legit pain and wanted his mom. That's what it looked like. He came up like this. It was like, like that. And I think at that moment we're both like, I've never seen that side of Joe before.
Yeah.
The part where he looks like he wants to crawl away and die somewhere.
Yeah.
Because he looked like he was fucked up. But then
he took another Kinshasa to the back of the head and then another one to the face before getting pinned.
He's a tough bastard.
Yeah, he is.
He's a tough bastard.
And then he rolls out of the ring, and then they have the medical staff come out and tend to him. Yeah. And then when he got up, he seemed pissed. Did you notice that?
Yeah, he seemed pissed.
He's like pushing the medical staff away and walked up the ramp by himself.
And I wonder, I mean, that was, he's probably like, okay, number one, you guys can't do anything for me. 2, you're making me look weak right now, so I need to do something to counter that, so I'm going to push some of you guys away. I think that had to do with it. Did you notice in his entrance too, he pushed away the indie wrestler guy that was one of the security guards?
Oh yeah,
He had security around him. One guy was getting a little anxious there. He was getting kind of pretty, went back. The guy was like, "Oh fuck, what am I doing?" He thought he was on his way out there to face the King of Strong Style. I don't know. I think Joe's a pro. Joe knows shit goes down. He's probably just angry that he didn't. What I think is maybe they had something planned for after Shinsuke won the belt involving Joe. Whether it be him shaking his hand, whether it be him running him down or giving him shit or whatever. I don't know which side that was going to fall on, but maybe Joe was like, well, shit, I can't do that now, and that's kind of ruining the product. Yeah. Maybe that was the case. Maybe he was just pissed off that he had a broken jaw. I know I would be.
Who knows?
So
I'm sure there'll be news.
He's like, dude, this shit's supposed to be fake. You're not supposed to break my face off.
I'm sure the next few days we'll hopefully learn more about Joe's condition.
Yeah. So I don't know. It was a fantastic show. It was totally a money show. It was an amazing first time experience for NXT. So it was a good show.
Yeah.
I give it
overwhelmed.
Thumbs up. Overwhelmed.
Exactly, Tonight we got SummerSlam.
Tonight we got SummerSlam, and then tomorrow we have 7 hours of being on a plane.
Probably more than that.
Oh, goodness gracious. Anyways, we're going to have lots more content for you guys, so stay tuned, and we'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.